Hello students, this is your science teacher Ms. Fatma. Today we are going to study the new topic about the hazardous substance and its proper handling from page number 12. On page number 12, can you see the different symbols? These are the different symbols and these are the different signs that you can able to see in different places, right? So what are basically hazardous substances? Hazardous substances are those substances which can actually cause harm to the living thing, to human, to animal, or any kind of living things and non-living things. Substance should be when you are going to use such substance, this substance should be used with proper handling, and one must be very cautious during this use. The first is the symbol of fire. The symbol of fire actually demonstrate that substance is highly flammable. And what does flammable mean? Flammable means that substance can easily catch the fire. The example of such substance are petrol and alcohol. And how you are going to proper handle it to avoid that substance to get flame? By putting this flammable substance away from the fire or heat. You should not keep the substance like petrol or alcohol near the fire or heat, because these are extremely flammable and they can easily catch the fire. Now coming towards the second symbol, this second symbol is actually of some sort of blast, right? Can you see this ball is getting uh, dispersed? This symbol is actually representing those substances which are explosive substances. Explosive substance means which can actually explode themselves and which can actually blast themselves. And these are the example of such substance are the mixture of hydrogen and air. And how you are going to proper handle these substance? The explosive substance should also be kept away from the fire and the heat, and should be properly treated according to the given instruction. Now coming towards the third, in the third symbol, can you see that they have given you a diagram in which the few drops are pouring on the hand on some surface. So actually what it is showing, it is showing that if such substance will drop on any surface, either on your hands or either on the surface, this substance will actually uh, cause the burn or can actually destroy that place. So these are called corrosive substance. These are called corrosive substance. The example of such substance are strong acid and alkali. And how you are going to proper handle it? You can proper handle it by avoiding the direct contact with such substance. If you know that you have a test tube and in which there is an acid, then you should not go and touch it with your bare hand. You should have a spatula or you should have a handle to lift it out. These substances can actually cause the severe burns. And if some sort of substance accidentally get poured in your hand, what you need to do is you need to immediately wash that area with the water. Is the mark of a skull, right? And this skull actually represents that substance is highly poisonous and toxic substance. The example of such substances are mercury, cyanide and chlorine. These are substances which can actually cause the immediate death of a person if that person intake such substances. So how you are going to properly handle it? Do not eat or drink or taste any poisonous substance. These substances are not meant to taste or eat. So avoid getting it in your mouth and use them according to the given instruction as it is instructed to use. Now the next one is of a cross sign. The cross sign actually symbolize that this substance is actually irritating, and this substance will cause the irritation when you are going to inhale it. Fine. So such substances are chloroform, which actually make the person faint, alcohol, bromium vapor. And how to properly handle it? Avoid inhaling the vapor of such substances. Alright, from use the fume chamber to make them escape when you are going or when you are doing such experiments. The next one is representing the symbol of radioactive substance. What are radioactive substances? Radioactive substances are those substances which have their atomic number greater than 82, and these substances actually emit the radiation from itself, and these elements keep of emitting the radioactivation from them. The example of such substances are radioactive carbon, uranium. Uranium is also used in atomic bomb and it is highly reactive, right? And these radioactive substances can actually cause the skin cancer and the severe burns. Now, how you are going to proper handle it? If you want to handle this, then you need to adherently stick to the instruction that has been given to you to use these substances. These substances are used with the proper care and with proper handling. Alright, the next sample is of the substances. Substances are blood product, infections, and bacteria and viruses. The viruses and the bacteria, as you know, that it can actually harm you. So you need to keep yourself away from these things. So if there is a biohazardous waste from the chemical industry, so it must be disposed of properly in the proper containers, and these type of waste should not be thrown with the normal waste. These are the biohazardous waste, and it is very necessary to keep that waste away or keep that waste disposed of in proper conditions. Alright, now there is a tryout which I want you to do. What they say is that the science laboratory can be found in different places. The space shuttle can be a laboratory where the astronauts carry out investigation. What else or where else can you use the laboratory in the study and the practice of science? Confined to the laboratory. Give an example and support your answer. Give it a paragraph, alright, and write what do you think about this question. Now coming towards the next topic, that is about the laboratory apparatus. So in laboratory, the different apparatus are used for different purposes. So few apparatus are used for handling the chemical, few apparatus are used for metering the chemical, few apparatus are actually used to contain that chemical, few apparatus are used to generate the heat, few elements are used to keep the different chemicals separately. So in the science lab, I wish I could take you to science lab, but unfortunately due to the COVID-19 the schools are not open, so I won't be able to take you to science laboratory. But as soon as the school is going to start, I will take you to science laboratory to make you see these all apparatus by your eyes. So the first apparatus is the test tube. The word from the test tube, it is a tube in which we usually do the small testing. We contain them we take the small amount of substance and heat them from the bottom. If we need to have a small chemical reaction or a test chemical reaction, we usually do into the test tube. The next one is a boiling tube. The test tube is in narrow form, and the boiling tube is a bit wider from the test tube, and it's used for the same purpose. And if you want to heat the small amount of substance. The next one is beaker. The purpose of a beaker is to contain the chemical and the liquid in it. This is how it looks like a glass, a white glass. Now this next one is a conical flask. The conical flask actually shapes like narrow from the beginning, and when it comes towards the end it forms a triangle. And this conical flask is actually used for containing and collecting different kind of liquid. There is an experiment of titration which we actually done in the conical flask. Now then we have the flat bottom flask. The reason of having a flat bottom flask is to prepare, if you want to prepare some gas during your experiment, you can actually use the flat bottom glass. Alright, now the next one is the round bottom flask. The difference between the round bottom and flat bottom flask is, in flat bottom flask you can't heat that flask, right? Like if you don't need to heat any if you don't want to heat the gas any further for the preparation, then you are going to use the flat bottom flask. But if you are going to heat the gas during the process, if the process requires the heating of the gas, then which glass you are going to use? You are going to use the round bottom flask. The next one is the measuring cylinder. From the word measuring means you will be able to measure any particular amount of substance. So the accuracy of measuring cylinder is 1 centimeter cube. Like the minimum amount that you can actually measure is 1 centimeter cube. These measuring cylinders are actually used to measure the volume of liquid. Fine. Then you have the burette. Burette is like a long tunnel, long tube, right? A narrow long tube. It is also used for measuring, but the accuracy of the measuring burette is more than the measuring cylinder. It is 0.1 centimeter cube. These both are used to measure the volume, but the accuracy is different. The accuracy of measuring cylinder is 1 centimeter cube, and the accuracy of burette is 0.1 centimeter cube. Now we have the pipette. It is also used for measuring the volume, but for this very specific volume of the liquid, and the accuracy is of 25. And how much volume you can actually measure from it? You can actually measure 25 centimeter cube to 50 centimeter cube of volume in this pipette. Then you have the crystal funnel. The purpose of the crystal funnel is to transfer a liquid into a glass. If you actually want to transfer, let's example, if you want to transfer the liquid from the conical flask to the boiling tube, or from the conical flask to the measuring cylinder, then you need a crystal funnel in which you can actually lift the liquid up and transfer it to the required place. The next one is the filter funnel. The purpose of the filter funnel is to filter the substance. If you want to filter any material, any substance, then what you need to do is you need to keep the filter paper here, and this filter tunnel will work like this. These are actually used to separate the insoluble solid from the liquid with the help of filter paper. The next one is the gas jar. As from the name you can identify that these gas jar are actually used for collecting the gases. The next one is the bell jar. The bell jar is used for separating an experimental setup from the outside environment. Like if you want to do an experiment and you don't want the surrounding air to get involved in it, or surrounding gases to get involved in it, what you need to have a bell jar. So this bell jar will actually isolate your system, your experiment from the outside environment. The next one is a evaporating dish. The evaporating dish is like a wide bowl, and this evaporating dish is actually used to evaporate the liquid from the solution. Like if you want to separate the solution of the salt and water, then what you need to have a evaporating dish and the solution of the salt and water. And when you are going to evaporate it, in the remain you will only have a salt, and the water will actually get evaporated. Then you have a crucible. The crucible is actually for if you want to heat a solid right directly over the flame, then you need to have a crucible. It is made from the china clay, and the evaporating dish is also made from the china clay. Then you have the tripod stand. So the tripod, from the word tripod, means tree. It has a 3 leg. It also known as 3-legged stand. The purpose of having the tripod stand is to support the apparatus during the heating. Like if you want to heat the evaporating dish. Now the next one is water trough. The purpose of water trough is to contain the water when you are collecting the gas. During the experiment in which you have to collect the gas, the water trough is used to collect the gas. Now the next one is the displacement can. It's like a kettle when you are going to displace the liquid. Now the next one is the dot stand, and this stand actually support your apparatus. This is a key holder in which you can actually hold your test tubes, your flask, your burettes, and this is the stand on which you can keep your required apparatus. Alright, so these are the basic apparatus that actually present in the science laboratory, and it is used in doing the chemical reaction. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss is about the benefit, limited and abuses of science and technology. As you all know that each and every thing in the universe has its benefit, its abuses and its limitation. So similarly, the science has also few benefits, it also has abused, and it also has some limitations which are beyond the control of the science. So if you talk about the benefits of the science, there are multiple benefits of the science, right? The benefit of the science includes that you are able to connect, like in this scenario of the COVID-19, you are able to get your education without getting physically involved in the class. So how it is happening? It is happening because of science and technology. The science and technology actually help you to make your life easier. And if you say that what is technology, the technology is basically the application of the science. Then science is like a theory, a concept, an idea, and the application of that idea, the concept and the theory is actually the technology. With the help of science, we invent different type of instrument, different types of machine, different types of chips, different types of devices, which actually makes our life quite more easier. Like if you actually thought about communicating with someone back in 50s, 1950s, it won't be that easy to communicate, but now you are able to communicate with anyone in this world on your fingertips. Just you need to have a WhatsApp, just you need to have a phone call, you are just a phone call away. Alright, so the science has actually made our life quite more easier, but as it has made our life easier, on the other hand, it has also made our life miserable. So today we are going to learn the topics, the limited, the benefits, the abuses and the misuses of the science. So coming towards the benefit of the science has actually allowed the humans to invent new technology, new machinery and new method of growing vegetable, of growing food. For example, if you talk about the figure number 1.26, it is a machine, and because of this new technology, I guess it is an MRI, it allows you to treat the disease more effectively. It actually tells you what are the reason, the true reason behind your disease. So the science has also helped in doing the wonders in the medical industry. It has helped in making different types of vaccines, like in the COVID-19, the Russia has already made the vaccine. So the vaccine is needed to overcome or to fight with this virus. Actually the science is helping to fight with this, to make different types of vaccines. The science has allowed us to explore the outer space. We are able to send the rockets, the satellites, the space shuttle, the space mission outside the earth in the space, to learn and to discover more about the universe. The science and technology has also enabled us to grow the food, to grow the more food. We can actually increase the yield of and the production of the food with the help of with the technology that the science has provided us. Now coming towards the next, the satellite, that how you are able to actually connect to different parts of the world, and how you are actually able to connect with each other. It's because of satellite. The satellite actually catches the signal and conveys the signal where it is needed, and it's the fastest way of communication in the era of but if we talk about the abuses and misuses of science, there was a huge explosion of a nuclear bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The atomic bomb is it's actually the invention of science and technology, but the misuse and the abuse of that atomic bomb actually caused the deaths of thousands and millions of people, right? So the science, does not only have benefit, it also have abuses and misuses. It is upon us human that how we are going to use that science, right? Like for the generation of electricity, the orthodox method is to use the fossil fuel. In Pakistan, mostly the electricity is made from the natural resources, from the coal oil, but these natural resources are getting decreased day by day. So it's actually the exploitation of the natural resources and the environment, and it is actually causing harm to the environment. The science and technology has also enabled human to make the deadly weapons. I have mentioned, like atomic bomb. They have also like, as you can see from this picture, this is a picture in which the factories are actually spreading out the air pollution, and this air pollution actually cause the cancer, the heart problem, the breathing problem, right? So the science and technology also have many misuses. So if we talk about the limitations of the science, we can say that the science we cannot do anything, we cannot do everything from the science. The science has also some sort of limitation. So science and technology, the limitation is that we all have heard about the earthquake, right? We can actually predict that earthquake is coming, but we cannot actually prevent the earthquake to come. So these are the few limitations of the science that actually limit the human resources. Talk about one more thing, that in the night there is no light on the sky. That is, the science and technology is that much advanced enough to make this night sky light up like a day? No. The science has few limitations and few boundaries, and beyond it can't work. So that's it for this chapter. I'm soon going to provide you the theory notes of this chapter. What you need to do is you need to read all this chapter once again, and if you find any difficulty in this chapter, you can ask me. Thank you so much, class. Stay home, stay safe.